Hey there, everyone. There's a few of us here. Uh, we've got just a few seconds, and then we'll get going. I am attempting to turn on my do not disturb so that our time together is not interrupted. So that is done there in our life with multiple devices, making sure it's everyone. And it is now 12 o'clock and 12 seconds. And there's a healthy handful of us here. Hello, Joe. It's good to see you, my friend. Always, even over the magical realm of ones and zeros. My friend Joe, who's watching. Everyone else who's watching, if we haven't met, my name is Chris. I'm a pastor at Everyday Joe's in Old Town Fort Collins, part of the Timberline Old Town campus. And that's where I come to you from, upstairs in one of our classrooms. If you've ever been in the building, it's beautiful, and it's, this old warehouse built in 1925, and it's got these huge windows and 100-year-old bricks and all this stuff, but it's full of people right now having coffee and conversation, and meetings and doing work, and that's who we are, and it's what we do down here, is we are open to the neighborhood as much as possible, and that's Monday through Sunday. So if you haven't been down to 144 South Mason, come down, introduce yourself to me. I'm around most days, and I would love to have a chat with you. So, anyways, that's that. And again, for anyone just joining, welcome. My name is Chris. I'm a pastor at Everyday Joe's on the Timberline Old Town campus in Old Town Fort Collins. Wherever and however this day finds you, I recognize your soul there. We are all here. We have gathered here in this virtual digital space, coming through a range of mornings and lifetimes and weeks and months, carrying different emotions with us, different hopes and different fears, but we are all here. And that's a beautiful pause. So thank you for taking the pause. It's cold outside, in case you didn't notice. If you're joining us from somewhere other than Colorado, it's really cold in Colorado right now. And this morning I was outside shoveling the snow in the driveway, and everything was cold. Every piece of clothing I had on seemed to, any moisture within the fibers seemed to freeze somehow. And it was a deep discomfort. And I'm not one who minds shoveling snow, but it was cold. But then as I was shoveling the snow, I heard the birds of spring, the black-capped chickadee, the red-winged blackbird, these songs of birds in northern Colorado that are harbingers of spring coming, and this spring snow. And spring is this time of new life that has been waiting underground for months, germinating, preparing. It's been a slow wait for this new life to eventually break through the soil into the light. But it was hopeful. As I was cold and I was shoveling snow, these songs of spring, these songs of newness, of hope and encouragement, they were wonderful, and they were a gift, and they caused me to pause and simply listen for a moment. And that's part of this practice now. We are pausing, and we will listen to what God has for us. I was reminded of the words in Isaiah 45, and I'm going to paraphrase here, but when I heard those birds, I was reminded of the words in Isaiah 45, something like, I have treasures for you in the darkness. These gifts for you that have been hidden away, but they wait for you, and you will see them, and when you see them, you will know that it is I, the Lord, who has called you by your name. And that's what the birds reminded me of. It was this light in the frigid cold. I've lit these candles behind me to remind us of the presence of the beautiful, loving Trinity amongst us in this time. It's this light. And so we are constantly companioned by the light and love of God. And we are asked in moments like these, in between meetings, as we go about our days, sitting at stoplights, sitting in the line at the grocery store, wherever you find yourself, to find moments to pause, to be still, and to know that He is God. So I invite you right now, wherever you find yourself, as we wrap this up a little bit, to simply do this. Pause. If you're walking, maybe stop. Be safe. If you're on a sidewalk, scoot over. If you're at work and you can, pause. Maybe put both feet on the ground. Like really put them on the ground. Feel them there. Feel the gravity placing them on the ground. And I invite you to close or lower your eyes. And I invite you to take a deep breath in. And now let it out. And let's do that 2 more times. Take a deep breath in. And let it out. Now 1 more deep breath in. And let it out. Pray with me. Loving Father, living Christ, Holy Spirit, we pause with you today, you pausing with us. Quiet our busy minds. Be still our restless hearts. And help us to notice these treasures that you have for us. These birds of spring that remind us that you are God and that it is you who calls each of our names in love and faithfulness out of a desire for our love and faithfulness, that we might be with each other. I recognize my own soul, and I invite you now as you pray to put your hand over your heart and recognize that you are alive. And I recognize what you are doing within me, God.